I awoke to the sounds of Lily's gentle snores as they drifted across the bedroom loft. She was still fast asleep, and I needed to keep it that way, or suffer the consequences. Creaky floorboards meant that the simple act of getting dressed would require a little ingenuity. Morning, Dougal. My boots were nearby, but I needed to put on my trousers first. This wasn't my first rodeo. My trousers were just out of reach. Hey, Dougal, give me that stick, boy. If I was to get that stick from Dougal, I had to time it just right. Yoink! Huh? Ugh. Lily made a fish and marmalade sandwich for me the day before. I didn't have the heart to refuse, but I wasn't about to eat it. Oh, that stinks. Boot, check. Oh, that stinks. I couldn't leave. I wasn't even dressed yet. I couldn't do anything about the sweater while Lily was still pulling it. Oh, that stinks. Lily was a sprawl of limbs, and my sweater was pinned beneath her. I needed to find a way to roll her over without waking her. Oh, that stinks. I wasn't about to start throwing food around the room, without a good reason at least. He was going to have to earn the other half of this disgusting sandwich. Oh, that stinks. I was trying to gather all my clothes without leaving my bed to avoid waking her, and throwing a stick at her was not going to help achieve that. Even with the stick, I couldn't reach that far. I couldn't do anything about the sweater while Lily was still pulling it. Oh, that stinks. He was going to have to earn the other half of this disgusting sandwich. I'd freed my sweater from Lily's clutches, but I was still out of reach. I'd freed my sweater from Lily's clutches, but I was still out of reach. I should be able to get the trajectory right. He wasn't going to just let me take it, but maybe he'd be interested in a trade. I had to wait until his mouth was open. That was my cue to sneak out of there. I decided I'd cycle to the nearby town. Maybe I'd find someone willing to hire me. Maybe I'd find someone who knew where my dad had gone. But first, I had a few things to take care of. I picked up the jug. I'd need water to make Lily's breakfast. Cooking utensils hung from the wall by the fire, for now at least. I'd recently made Lily a small wooden sword so she'd have something else to swing around. Lily's dress was hanging from the line. I didn't need to take it down for her. She developed her own technique for that. I think he relocated so he won't be responsible for waking Lily. You and me both, buddy. The doors of the cupboard where we kept the dishes were tied closed. For all the good it did, I'm pretty sure Lily chewed through them last time. Dad's compactable footstool seemed like a great idea. I wasn't sure why it hadn't taken off. I only ever saw the transmitter active on a few occasions. During those times, Dad would have kept the shed door locked tight. I needed something to collect the water first. The pump handle had snapped, leaving only a small section of it protruding from the pump. It was going to take something heavy to force it down. There was a solid block of wood next to the pump. The receiver attached to the shed received something from the transmitter, which in turn rotated the wheels to move the belt along in order to... I had no idea. Sometimes I think Dad added contraptions to his contraptions just to throw me off. Dad converted the garden shed into his personal workshop when he decided he wanted to work for himself. He'd normally spend every waking hour in there, inventing, tinkering, but it had been days, and there was no sign of him. The door wasn't locked, but something was blocking on the other side. The lights in the shed only came on when Dad's generator was running. I hadn't figured out how it worked yet though. It wasn't your average generator. It looked like the pitchfork had fallen from its resting place. I couldn't see a thing, and the idea of walking around a room in the dark, where my father invented things, made me nervous. The handle was broken, and the only tools I knew of were in the shed. There was a solid block of wood next to the pump. Yet another impressive feat of engineering. Well, well, well. I only ever saw the transmitter active on a few occasions. During those times, Dad would have kept the shed door locked tight. Dad, where are you? Dad left his jacket behind. Sometimes his work would make him forget the little things, like wearing a jacket outside, or eating. Dad made his own generator to power his workshop. As with his other inventions, he just refused to explain how it worked. It looked like there was something missing, but I hadn't figured out what. It looked like something important was supposed to go in the slot. The notes indicated that the water could be topped up via the funnel. I presume the machine wouldn't work without coolant. There, that should keep it cool. Lily left Sir Fuzzlepuff here a while ago with strict instructions to report to her immediately if he saw her grandfather. Didn't really stop to think where my dad got the mask or why he wanted it. I was pretty sure I could put it to good use though. I had to admit, some of Dad's inventions really were inspired. Cooking utensils hung from the wall by the fire, for now at least. I'd recently made Lily a small wooden sword so she'd have something else to swing around. I think he relocated so he won't be responsible for waking Lily. You and me both, buddy. If I went back up there, I'd wake Lily, and I did not want to do that. My father had notions of turning to farming when he left his job, but he never could leave signs behind. Taking into account Lily's willfulness, it was often easier to indulge her creativity than flat out ask her to do something. In this case, the gnome was a spy who informed me of when Lily wandered too far from the house. Strange light? Ah, it's a package from my father.
Arthur, this is the last of the small crystals. I hope this was worth giving up your job for. I'm still finding the whole notion difficult to believe. I'm tempted to make a trip to your home to see it with my own eyes. But the fact that you keep the generator in your bedroom is quite unsettling, to say the least. If what you say about the lesser crystals is true, then I fear what may happen when this company begins experimenting on the large one. It's still safe for now, but I don't think it'll be possible to smuggle it out of here without anyone noticing. Given the apparent results of your own experiments, it's possible they'll listen to your warning. However, it's more likely they'll see nothing other than the potential for profit. For now, I'll do my best to impede their research. Stay safe, my friend. Nina.
The strange crystal was obviously important to my father. I couldn't help but wonder if it had anything to do with him going missing. I decided to do a little snooping around. My trusty bicycle was my main method of transport and definitely didn't require any modifications, despite what my father said. Let's see. It fits. Huh? It's glowing. The whole wall was covered in writing. The whole wall was covered in writing. Dad had a habit of writing on whatever was nearest at the time. Apparently he found a way to make sure I didn't clean it. He must have wanted to remember that particular pattern, but what for? Whatever I did, it caused the machine in the back garden to power up. Dad left his jacket behind. Sometimes his work would make him forget the little things, like wearing a jacket outside, or eating. Tried to keep some things out of Lily's reach, but it never worked. Sure enough, the lights and whatever other equipment Dad constructed were receiving power. I wasn't sure if I was getting any closer to figuring out what happened to him, but it was the best lead I had. There was a hand-drawn map on the wall with 2 locations marked: our house and the hydroelectric dam, where Dad used to work. There was a large machine in the middle of the shed, with what looked like sliding doors. Dad, you better not be stuck in there. I'll find a way to blame it on the dog. The machine appeared to have opened by itself. There was a 50-50 chance that it was intended to respond to vibration, or that it was simply as reliable as the stepladder. It was one of the puzzle boxes my father often made for Lily. I wasn't sure why he hadn't given her this one, but I knew she'd be happy to have it. There was a small keyhole in the back, but like many of Dad's devices, its purpose was far from obvious. The machine appeared to be waiting for something. I've had enough of that pump for today. The machine was receiving power from within the house and was now transmitting something. I wanted to give Lily the puzzle box I had found, but she was still asleep. I wanted to give Lily the puzzle box I had found, but she was still asleep. Whenever possible, I tried to avoid taking the blame for waking Lily. Dougal, I think it's your turn to wake Lily up. Lily was fearless, even with the way she got out of bed. Sorry you had to take the blame for that one, Dougal. Like many things in this house, I knew the washing line would have to be Lily-proof. Lily was already out of bed. Sort of. Lily, does when in doubt, dance it out mean anything to you? Right. How did that dance go again? How did that dance go again? How did that dance go again? The secret dance routine turned out to be the solution for the combination lock. Inside the box there was a small key where the tasty treat should have been. Looks about the right size. Hey!
So hungry. Need breakfast. Look, Dougal, everything's laid out already. I should just make it myself. It's porridge. What could go wrong? Water? Check. Big old bag of oats. Prepare to be eaten. Hey, wait a minute. It's empty! Okay, I can fix this. All I need is a fresh bag of oats, a new bowl, and then to place a pot over the fire. This is easy peasy. What was Dad worried about? That breakfast wasn't going to prepare itself. Why didn't Grandad invent something like that? Dougal was pretty smart, but he didn't know how to put together a breakfast. Ugh, Dad tied a knot around the handle again. He must be trying to keep you away from the bowls, Dougal. Dougal, attack that string! Dougal probably would have fetched the oats if I asked him, but I didn't trust him not to eat them. That breakfast wasn't going to prepare itself. Why didn't Grandad invent something like that? I've never adventured on an empty stomach. Hey, Dougal, I think someone's at the door, boy. Heh, silly doggy. think someone's at the door, boy. Wait till Dad hears I did this all by myself. Oh. Hang on. Where is Dad?